You too. Man. A lot didn't happen since I checked in with y'all this morning. Not a lot, but a lot. So, one thing about this truck, knock on wood, got a doggone good heater. So, what I try to do is when I'm driving, if it gets hot, too hot, I'll turn the heater off in the front. But the heater be kicking so hard in the back that it gets up down, it gets in the front. So I crack the window. I cracked the driver's side window, let it down. The joke got to a point it wouldn't go all the way back up. And I said, man, what's going on with my window? So I'm kind of like trying to shake it, and it's almost like it's letting up, and then it's like it's hitting something. So I said, man, forget it. I'm just gonna deal with it when I stop. I said, hopefully it don't rain, or if it do rain, I got a solution that I'm gonna try. If I can't get it, force it back up, right? So I do that. Go through all the Florida way stations, all that good stuff like that. I get down here to the last one. I believe this is the last one before you get to Tampa. I'm sitting on the scale. They like, bring in your registration and your permit. And I'm sitting up here like, they ain't talking to me. I'm not overweight, I'm not overlean. What I need a permit for? So I'm leaning up, I'm looking over there. It's not another truck on the other scale. I'm still sitting there because I'm like, I know the light gonna turn green, because I'm thinking like maybe I drove too far up to the front where they not measuring the weight. So I'm looking. So they come in, she says it again. She said, driver, pull over to the parking area, bring in your permit and your cab card. I'm like, permit? So I drive on around through the parking lot, park, get my little folder with my cab card and stuff in it. I pop open the folder. I'm looking at the expiration date. This thing expired September of last year. I said, man, I don't even have an up-to-date cab card. But I'm like, I know it's in here because I just got a DOT inspection not too long ago. So I'm looking, spend about 10-15 minutes looking. Then I finally say, let me just go to my email. Let me just type in cab card and let me see if a cab card is in there, in my emails. Email, boom, there you go right there. 2021 cab card. Yes. I'm like, all right, I'm cool, bet. So I get over there. They say, how you doing? I'm like, I'm doing fine. And she's like, yeah, where's your permit? Like, permit for what? Your overland permit. I'm not overland. She said, you hauling the plywood, ain't you? So I kind of walk forward. I'm doing my finger like this as I'm curving around, like walking, but I'm making my finger curve around the dumpster. I'm like, this truck right here. She said, yeah, it's 50. The trailer's 53 feet, right? I said, no, the trailer ain't no 53. So the guy, he go back out there. There's a guy standing there. He said, don't worry about it. I go measure it. Again, I'm ignorant to an extent because I've only pulled 48-foot trailers. I've pulled a 53, but if anybody haul a flatbed, and again, this is my ignorance, I'm always used to the long, like the whole back, like the axle is up and you got the whole back. So I'm thinking that's how you distinguish a 53 and a 48. Ignorance, right? So my man get the little thing. He walking beside the truck. I'm walking beside the truck. I'm like, I don't know what you measuring for. It's 48. 53. 53. It's like, yeah, 53. He's like, from your rear axle hub to where your kingpin is, supposed to be 41 feet or shorter. So again, my ignorance, I'm thinking it's one of them deals where like, okay, so you telling me I need to slide the fifth wheel back? He's like, no, it's gonna be the same thing. It's gonna be the same thing. No, you either have to get a permit or you have to slide the axle up. Like, man, the axle don't slide up. It's like that. It doesn't slide up. It's like, okay, well, give me a second. I'm gonna go back in and you can come on in behind me or whatever like that. So I walk in. Lady says, I can help you get a permit. DOT. So I'm thinking like, man, you ain't get no permit till like tomorrow or something like that. They're gonna throw my whole load off. And so she's like, no, I'm gonna get a permit like tonight. Okay, well, cool. I'm like, well, how long is it gonna take? You know, now they cracking jokes now. Oh, it's gonna take about as long as it's gonna take for him to write this $100 citation. $100 citation? I know you did not just tell me that I'm about to pay a $100 citation. I said, how much is the permit? She said the permit is $30. Now, somebody may say, I would have went out there because before he left, before I walked back in, I walked back there and I saw the instructions because it was plastered on the frame where you could actually slide the axle back up. My thought process is like, why was the axle slid back to begin with? So I said, you know what, I'm frustrated. I don't feel like dealing with it. Let me just get the permit. Because I'm thinking at this point, like they were making a joke about the $100 citation, right? So I'm like, well, I get the permit, boom, 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 warning, that's that. It's 100 plus the 30. So I emailed the guy over my cab card. He prints it out, so I got a physical with me and all that good stuff. He said, yo, just make sure when you scan this in, make sure your company gets it so they can pay it. There's no points on your license, nothing to affect the CSA score, none of that. I'm sitting there be like, okay, but it's gonna affect my pockets. That's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm $130 short in an hour, basically. So as I'm sitting in there, I'm looking at like the screen. I'm looking at like how they visually have all the trucks that they give the bypass to, the trucks that they tell to come in. So I'm like, so they got it so smooth now to where if you don't come in, like they got a picture of your license plate. If you don't come in, then they ain't got to put no trooper out to chase you. They can just, oh, you violated, boom, send it to the company, tag it on to him, and then you got to talk to safety about why did you bypass the scale when the scale told you to come in. You can't lie because it's right there. So as I'm standing there looking, I see a bobtail come up on the scale. And I see two people running up beside the truck, just like running. One person goes around to the driver's side. I'm thinking like this is the actual driver because I didn't actually see the truck pull onto the scale. I'm thinking the driver had gotten out and maybe the woman was like a lot lizard or something. I didn't see the truck come up. I'm sorry. So it was 3 DOT people. So one of them, she goes outside. The other 2 are looking at the computer. They kind of doing this number right here. And I'm looking, I'm like, it's still a little testy out here. Do I need to go run for cover. Is somebody gonna come in here shooting? So the lady comes back in. She said, what did you tell him? I told him to park the truck over there. He hit their car back down the road, and he just kept going because he thought he was going to be able to bypass the weigh station and get away. I said, ain't no way this joker is really going to start his year off with a hit and run. Ain't no way you're doing that. He went over there and parked. They gave him my paperwork back. I seen the lady and her husband or whoever it was. They was sitting there talking to the officer about the ordeal. And I peeked out the window before I started this video. And they were still sitting over there. So I don't even want to begin to think about the fines. And I mean, like, hit and run is a felony, right? Yeah, hit and run is a felony. Because you didn't stop. You weren't going to stop until you got pulled into the weigh station. Which, I'm going to be honest with you. If I would have hit somebody and I didn't stop, what do I like stopping at the weigh station? But that's that, man. So, I seen another guy come in. I hear them holler at him on the loudspeaker. So I'm like, man, they about to get him for 100 too. So I walk back over there. I'm like, hey, man, they tell you come in with your permit? It's like, yeah. Said you got one? It's like, yeah. Somebody like, you got a permit? It's like, yeah, man, they got me right before Christmas. So I just went on and got one. BS if you ask me. I'm like, yeah. So I looked at my atlas. It's only 3 states that rock like this. Florida, Illinois, Minnesota. You got a 53-foot trailer, and that back axle is too far back. If it ain't 41 feet or shorter, they gonna get you for 100 unless you got a permit. And so somebody may say, man, you should have probably just tried to slide the axle back up. For all I know, the axle don't slide back up. Right? It don't slide back up. And I was gonna try to make it down here to the to this rest area. But when I got back to the truck, I had seen that I was in there for 52 minutes. So I said, well, you know what? I might well just stick my flag in the ground right here for the night and take off in the morning. Make it on down now. So it is what it is, man. Crazy. But as far as my window, I had put some screws in my window. Not my window, but my door to hold it shut. So I unscrewed all of the screws I put in there. I tried to let the window back up. It let all the way back up. So I said, well, I'm not gonna let it back down again because I don't know if that solution will continue to work. So to avoid that, I'm just not gonna let the window down. If I have to get in one of them situations, I'm just gonna crack the door open until I can get somewhere or I can figure out what was causing it to get to a point and stopping, because it was a good almost 3 inches at the top. So I was sitting up here like, if I wouldn't have got the window up, man, man, it was gonna be rough on me. But that's crazy, man. I'm thinking now, you know what, maybe if I would have left yesterday, like like a good driver, left yesterday, got to my little place last night, chilled out for the majority of the day today, and drove on down to today, could this have been avoided? I don't know. But what's crazy, I ain't been in Illinois with this trailer. I ain't been in Illinois. But like I say, the permit is good for like a year, for like $30. So for the value that it gives you, you can't beat it, even though you might not be using it. Because for all I know, I get back up here on the way back up, They pulled me in and like, bring your permit in, you know. So at least I got it. Right. At least I got it. Oh well, man. Anyway, I'm about to read a little. My current reading material. Read a little. I'm going to bed. I might. They got a vending machine, and I want some at the vending machine, but it only takes cash. They don't have the vending machine where you can swipe the card. So I think I got like $1, maybe a little change somewhere. Anyway, man, I'm gonna get back with y'all in the morning, man, and think about this $130, man. I could have invested that money.